Hey guys, hope you're having a great day. Today I am in the car with Maxine here. She is standing guard while we wait for Autumn. She's getting some breakfast before she goes to work. So I thought I would start today's video. So today's video is going to be a little bit different. It is not for everybody, and I understand that. But I wanted to share because as a homeowner, there's a lot of things that go wrong in your home, correct? And there's a lot of things that you got to replace. You got to do. I was talking to my dad, and I'm like, when you got a home, there's always something to do. There's always. It's like the projects never end. There's always something to fix, something breaks, something you got to upkeep on. There's just always something. So for our home, for the most part, my husband does all the things that go wrong in my home, and takes care of them that way. And so sometimes it's like you look at this task and you're like, is this a pretty big task to take on your own? And sometimes they are. You got to reach out for help. You got to know your limitations. But for what we're going to do today, I thought I would share with you because we've watched a bunch of different videos online, and I'm like, okay, there's enough of those kind of videos. I'm like, but what kind of video hones in on the everyday Joe that maybe is not professional, but there's a few things that they're missing in some of their videos. And so that is what I'm sharing with you today. So today's going to be a little bit different, not for everybody, but I thank you for the support of my channel over the years. And let's do today's video. Let's go out and see Greg. Oh, hey, babe.
Hi,
what are you doing up there? Let me guess. Sweating?
I'm just finishing up, baby.
What do you got up there, babe? Look at that.
Finally, we have an air conditioner in the garage.
Why would you need air conditioner in the garage here?
Oh my goodness.
Let me tell you.
Where do you want me to begin?
It's like 150 degrees out here.
Our house, the neighbor's house on this side, a couple down, and over here. In our neighborhood, the sun rises above our house.
Yeah.
Continues to punish our house all day, all evening,
oh, yeah.
all the way till sunset.
Yeah.
Clear shot for these three houses. Almost all these other dudes, they raise their garage doors up.
Which don't do that because
literally all day they keep it, just cracked to try to relieve because the air conditioners in the house are just working overtime.
Yeah.
This home, the person that we purchased it from, they put in an attic fan right above where Amy's sitting at, and I just didn't do it.
No.
It's a good idea, nice concept, but Florida sun will just bake you alive. So we got the Della unit to see if we could get the temperature in here down a little bit off the attic space.
Yeah.
And hopefully bring the energy bill down on the whole house
as a whole.
Yeah, and everything out here, my lawnmowers, my generator, Amy's car, everything that we have out here is just getting melted to death. I come out here to use some of my chemicals and things for cleaning the car, and they're like solidified. Yeah, I needed some PVC cement the other day for doing some outside work on this, and it was like the rubber. The rubber portion, the cement portion was just a solid block.
Yeah.
These kind of things survive for years in Michigan, or for years in the mountains, in your garage.
And they do not. You got this. This is what we originally got. Like we first moved in thinking, one of those temporary things, like portable ones would work. It really cut off the sweat, but it was still really hot and toasty in here.
12,000 square foot, a 12,000 BTU unit.
Yeah.
When we were having trouble with our air conditioner and we used it in the house, that unit would literally cool a good majority of the downstairs. I mean, it's running nonstop. It would work.
It would work, yeah.
Out here, with the constant barrage of the heat on the roof, and with the solar panels and everything else, it's like a cook factory out here.
And they're concrete, so cinder on the outside, so it just holds the heat. Florida garages.
It's a double-edged sword because it holds the cool really well too. It's like once you bring stone down to cold, it holds it for a while.
Does it ever get cold here?
Yeah, but it's like, I don't know, what is it right now?
Let's go see. Cooking thermometer out, so let's see.
How do you make it?
Just got to pull off the probe. There you go. So out here right now it is, look at 90 degrees outside.
And it just downpoured.
Yeah,
we just
rained.
had a huge cooling rain come through.
Yes.
I would say, to describe it in here, it's literally 100% humidity.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I feel sticky. It's 90 and it just got done raining.
Yeah. Say sweaty eyeballs. That's what I say.
Oh, okay.
When I'm out here, I'm always like, why don't you film in your garage, Amy? Because I'm like sweating eyeballs all the time, so I don't want a sweaty eyeball. It's sweaty eyeballs is what it is.
But this says 90.
Yeah.
And then, okay, so The app is pretty darn close. It says
91.
it's 91 in here right now.
Nice.
So I just finished up with installing. We did the procedure for doing the vac, which we'll talk about in a little bit here. But should we turn it on and see?
Yeah, let's get it. Let's get it.
All right,
cool
maybe we can launch it and then go do a little bit of talking about it or whatever, and then we can come back and see
how cool it is. Yeah, let's do it.
So let's see mode. Well, first turn
on.
Oh yeah, baby. Look at the thing's opening.
There it is. Look at it go up. There it is.
Okay, let's see what mode. Okay, we're on cool. We'll leave it off of eco and see if it catches it up pretty fast. Fan speed, let's blast that dude to turbo.
Look at that.
Oh yeah, fans.
Oh wow, I can feel it.
Oh, it's blowing hard.
Nice.
Okay, let me bring this. Oh, and watch as I'm changing it on my phone.
Oh yeah, it's up there too.
Yeah, it's going up there. All right, let's bring it down to say 70.
Okay.
Or should I go right to freezing 60?
Do whatever you want, babe. 70 be frozen too.
For right now, we'll see how fast it.
Okay, it gets down there.
Because we just saw we started at, it says room 91.
Okay, so let's see how long it takes to do 30 degrees.
Yeah. So looking at the app, we're going through it, and you have your modes. Obviously, this heats as well. It heats, it dehumidifies, and you can just run a fan only. It's an eco mode you can turn on and off. Okay, so we're in the first setting on the app. Okay, close. The mode. And you got cool. This unit also heats. It's only a single. What do you call this? You know how you can actually get Dellas with multiple zones.
Okay.
So we've just got a single zone here. So we're just controlling just this one. But when you go into your first one, you got cool, you got heat, which
heat.
yeah. I'm going to avoid that button like the plague.
It's naturally heats.
Dehumidify, which would be super handy and fan only. Eco mode makes it run even more efficient than it already does, which is crazy. I can't imagine it being any more efficient. It's an inverter style. All right, and then you got your fan speed, and you've got quiet auto mode. 1, 2, 3, all the way up to turbo. Turbo if you want to cool it down quick. Dude, I already feel that.
I say it feels nice and cool.
I can already feel that. It's got your sleep mode, so you can kill it off when you're sleeping, and then your airflow, so you can move your
little
doors. Yeah, move the doors up and down and side to side and that kind of thing. And then it's got your schedule where you can tell it turn on this time, turn off that time. You can also set on a timer. How long do you want it to run for? And then under your more, you got your display that you can turn on and off up there. You can put your temperature in Fahrenheit or Celsius, and then it has a self-cleaning mode where after you power it off, you turn the self-clean on and it'll go through and self-clean itself. It also has geofencing.
Geofencing? What's that?
Geofencing.
Sounds
smart home.
Smart home.
What was up with that? So you can set a geofence.
Okay.
Like, I don't know, 200 meters or whatever you want to set. You set the geofence. It detects through your phone, oh, Greg's about to get home. And it'll automatically turn the unit on.
Nice. Very good.
So when you arrive at home, your air is blasting. And
that's very impressive.
I thought that was pretty cool.
That's a great thing.
That's pretty cool, because a lot of times you're just wanting to get home, you just want to get dinner, you're doing this. Well, the whole time in the background, while you're eating, the AC has been blasting. And you come out not even realizing, I got to go get my air started. It's on already.
Nice.
Very cool.
Very cool.
So the app is really cool. All right, so then under more settings over here, you can have third-party control. So look at that. You can yell at Alexa or Google to control it.
Nice.
So that can all be set up. Tap to run automation. You can add smart scenes and automation for it, which is pretty cool. And then your network for it, your device information. You can create groups, you can share device. It's got all your usual smart home type stuff.
Very nice. There it is.
All right, here we are on the outside of the house. You can see that
just rained.
We just got a monster rainstorm. So as far as the unit goes, and doing installation on it and stuff like that, there's 1,000 videos on there on YouTube or wherever. The packaging actually gives you a barcode you can scan and read, and you can follow right along step by step with the other thousands of install videos that are out there. I thought it'd be kind of cooler if we focused more on what kind of issues would the average installer run into.
The everyday Joe looking up a YouTube video.
Joe, man, because you see the videos and they go, well, I'm an air conditioning installation guy and I've been doing it for 1,000 years and
Right.
You know, and when you're following along with the videos, a lot of times if you don't know exactly what they're talking about, you're like, what are they even talking about?
Right.
Now? You know, I have no idea. So there was a few, you know, I've got experience with air conditioning and stuff in the past, but I'm no expert at it. So this is just kind of the things that we learned and discovered, you know, along the way while we were installing it. It's a simple breakdown of it.
Yes.
Is you need a hole in the ceiling.
Right up there, see that hole?
Okay.
That one right there is the hole in the ceiling.
Yeah, and in most homes, it's a wooden wall.
Okay.
You know, so a nice core hole saw is going to get the job done. You know, in our case, it's concrete, so it was a little bit more of a challenge to get the hole in the wall. So it's harder to get the hole in the wall than to install the entire unit.
Yeah, it was.
Honestly,
it was.
They make it so easy with everything that's included, with your instructional videos, you know, with everything. I mean, it's not, like I said, 90% of it self-explanatory.
Right.
10% of it is going to get you in trouble.
That's right. So if you live in Florida, be warned.
Yeah. So, but we've got the hole through.
Right there.
We've got it sealed off. I've got the insulating foam.
Yep.
You know, in all the openings, so no critters, different things like that can get in. The one thing that I did different, which would also kind of be along those tips and tricks sort of things, those gotcha bugaboos, was I separated my drain line from the main wire loom. They sort of show the coolant lines, the power cable, and the drain line, and all that going and just running together. You know, until at some point you can separate off and send your drain tube out. I didn't want my drain anywhere near electricity. I don't want it near my coolant lines. I don't want rust and rot, 10 years down the road.
Right.
I didn't want any of that. So I purposely separated all that out. One of my suggestions would be to definitely separate those lines out.
Okay.
But it all depends on your install.
Right.
The template they provide you with, it shows you put it on the wall, you drill a hole here where this diameter shows, you bend the tubes, you stick it on there. Our HOA, it doesn't allow, the air conditioners to be on the outside of the fence.
Right.
So due to our location where we had to put it, we had to have a little bit more complicated run.
Yeah.
So I didn't want it all that bundled together.
Good idea.
So I would recommend separating the water out of it. Yeah. As far as the electrical go, we had a 20 amp breaker, 220, 2-leg installed in the breaker box, and then they ran the schedule 40 out to here, and inside here, local code in Florida dictates that you have a disconnect next to the unit, kind of like our other AC unit's got a disconnect, and then it's also fused in here. I don't know, they were like $40 a fuse or something. It's like a slow blow fuse. It's a different kind of fuse. So we got double the protection. It's nice to have a breakout box outside that house because it protects the unit versus just the main protecting the wiring.
Inside.
So we're the lightning capital of the world.
Yes, we are.
Yep. So also, and on that vein, in Florida, what do we have? We have hurricanes.
Yes.
Right? We have violent winds. So there's a few different options you can do for mounting these. One of them, you can get like a fake stone off of Amazon. That's real popular. A lot of people will use it in like a non-hurricane zone area or whatever, no problems. But we wanted something that like it wasn't moving. So what I wound up doing is going about a foot and a half deep in the ground with the round forms and gravel underneath and pouring a base for the 4 legs, and then we anchored it down with a screw, at least 4 screws on each corner. So I sort of sunk it in there. So this dude, I mean, you can forget about it. It's not going anywhere. We got our isolator bushings, holding the unit down. It's on right now.
I was gonna say,
I'm standing next to it. It's on.
It's good.
So that's incredible. It's like super efficient. The inverter does not work like your old school, and that's another thing that got me. The inverters don't run like your old school. It's like on, and the lights dim, and this thing's sucking electricity. The inverters work much greater than that. They're a super energy efficient kind of a thing, and when they need the power, they'll take it. And as the room starts coming down in temperature and everything starts to normalize, you'll come out here and this thing will barely even be turning. It's just barely doing enough to cool the components, and it doesn't really have a shut-off sort of feature.
So it's on pretty much
on all the time, and it's just literally sipping electricity as it needs it. Ours came with the covering kit. You know, we've got a few in the neighborhood. I won't lie, they just have the direct lines going right up the wall. And to me, it doesn't look that attractive. You know, if you want something that's going to hide it and just look like any other part of the house, I would definitely recommend getting the exterior kit, the covers. These things are awesome. They literally, okay, so you see the front piece here. If you were to take these screws off, the back half of it has a hole in it. Okay, so that's what you drill. You put some, waterproof caulk on there and drill that dude up against the house. And that's what holds this piece in place. Same thing up there. These all split in half and have an installation hole. So you basically mount the back half of the fitting, and then you can slide your back half of the tube. Same here. These are like kind of squeeze fits. So you basically, through the whole thing, you only have half of the unit attached to the wall, and you can build the entire thing with the back half on there, and then just come and snap this top in, put this cap on, snap this in, and work your way down. So one other little tip that I would recommend is when you have these things placed where you want them, mount the actual tube itself with a screw. Just one right in center. So that holds it while you're trying to wrestle your line set. Right. And doing all that. Instead of being super frustrated about it, just send a screw in there. Mount those to the wall. You'll be super happy that you did. It frees your other hands up to do what you have to do. Alrighty, so this is the basic breakdown of what they'll send you in their rental kit. Okay. So you can rent with a deposit all the tools that are necessary to do this installation, okay? Here are a few things that I found and I would definitely recommend you do as well, okay? We'll start with these guys. These are a quick way to get, here, I'll show you, a quick way to get a bend in a piece of copper tube, okay? So this is intended to be stuffed down the tube, and when you go to do your bend, it keeps the tube from collapsing on itself, okay? What I found is that the further you have to go to 90 degrees to get it in the house, if you're doing an install that needs a fast 90 out there, this will get stuck. Look at how hard that is to pull out. And if you have a piece of tube that's 25 feet long, that you're trying to wrestle with, that becomes a serious issue. You got this super sharp bend in the tube that's pinching on this piece. On the 1/4 inch, not as big of a problem, because that just bends like butter. Okay, it's a lot easier. This guy, because there is a lot of extra gap in between, you can see there's probably 30-40 thousandths of an air gap in between this piece in the tube. Okay. So where that material's got to go somewhere. So you can see, when you bend, it pooches. See how skinny that gets? And most of these installs, they're going to have to come out a wall in a straight 90 bend. Right. And that is what probably 70% of people are going to do with their tube. Okay. And that's going to be bad. And when you can't get the thing back out, right? Right. So a really, really awesome upgrade to your installation is, don't be afraid to take a little razor blade, and slice the insulation away and expose your tube. It's no big deal. That stuff pushes right back on. You can throw a little duct tape around it. You can do whatever. You don't even have to. It just kind of wraps right back around. They also give you a vinyl tape for after the install to wrap all this stuff back together. So what I did, because I didn't like the feel of these things, these are amazing and awesome if you've got a very slight angle to put into your tube. You know, no worries. But if you got to run a hard 90 out of somewhere, which I mean, I'm guessing you got a hole in the wall, right?
Right.
Probably all the installations are going to have a hard 90 coming out at one point. I got this on Amazon for $30. And it covers 1/4 inch, 3/8 up to a 1/2 inch. You just, you know, loosen this and move this down to whatever tubing you're going to be bending. And then, you know, you open this dude up. Let's see if I can get it. Just a quick demonstration of it here. Okay, and you grab a hold of that. Even if you wanted to put a little WD on the outside of it or whatever, bam. Oh, look at it. Nicer. Okay, now I didn't try to, you know, you can be very careful and get a perfect 90 bend. But you see what it does is it folds the metal neatly. Yeah. And there's no risk of split. The tube has the majority of its, you know, its strength still there. No worries. Versus this. Right. So you know what I mean? Get yourself a tube bender. Get yourself a tube bender. Like I said, $30. Well worth the peace of mind. Oh yeah. Because like I said, you know, so you got to go in the wall and around a corner, like for my installation, say, and then you need to come out and back down. You know, so. And like I said, you know, see, it's got the incremental marks on it, 90 degrees. You know, and I'm not putting any lubrication in there. I'm not being careful. I'm just going for it. You know, and that's about the most perfect bend. You can see the stress is distributed evenly through the bend. Okay, that's going to give you serious peace of mind when you're doing it. If you need to go 25 feet, you know, it's a very valuable piece of tube. Yeah, copper's not cheap. No, these line sets are $180 to replace. Yeah. So, massive tip. Get yourself one of these right here. Okay, one other item that you might find that you're going to run into needing is if your installation is such, it has to be a little bit under the 25 feet or, you know, under the 15 feet that the kit comes with, you're going to need some way to cut the tubes. Get yourself a good tube cutter. How much? A client. This was maybe $15. Okay. And you can get them on Amazon much cheaper. I just went with a good, you know, decent name brand. Nice. One that's known in the industry. And then you'll need a flaring tool. You know, this thing can turn just any average homeowner into an expert at flaring tubes. You know. So let me back this dude off. You know, so you get it down to the end there. And there's your hot numbers. There's your 1/2 inch, and then there's your 1/4 inch right there. So if you do have to use your little tubing cutter, and you know, you do have to come around and flare a new tube. You know, you basically get your tube flush with this front face. You know, however you want to do that. You can use anything flat or just visual by eye, really. And then I like to use a little bit of the ester oil that they kind of provide with the install kit. You know, to do yourself a little flare. And now this is going in there dry. My tube is not flush either, so don't even take this as like a final anything. Just to give you a little example how this works. You hear that? Yep. That lets you know that you're done. Okay. Okay? And it's an eccentric flare tool. So that means that it doesn't just drive straight in and straight out. It's going like this on an angle, and it's slowly wrapping your copper tube into a flare. All right. You know, and there you go. That was without even trying, without even setting it up, nothing, just slapping it in there half-heartedly and rolling it in there to give you guys an example of what you need. So the bottom line is, if you're going to do this, you're going to want to get these tools.
Yeah.
If you want the perfect bends and you don't want to risk ruining those tubes at all, get the bender. Yep.
Cheaper than a whole new line.
Yeah.
For sure.
For sure. So for round 2, actually, before we go on to this stuff, let's make round 2 about the torque wrench. Your line set needs to be torqued to a very specific foot-pound, okay? These, these flares, like I just showed you over here, they want to be, pulled up, and the nipple that goes in there, they want to be seated at a certain tension, so you don't wind up at the end of the whole thing and everything doesn't hold air and it leaks. So this is also part of the kit that they give you, and you can either attach an open end head like this, or you can give it a what me and Amy like to call a zit zit.
Zit zit.
Why do we call it a zit zit, babe?
That makes noise.
Because it goes zit zit.
I don't really know the
zit,
tools by their names. He's like, I need a Phillips screwdriver. I'm like, is that the star one or the straight one?
Yeah. Yeah. So they send you this, and it's in foot-pounds. So I believe that the 1/2 inch runs like right around 35 foot-pounds, and then I think the 1/4 inch is right around 15 or something like that. So, you push this back, and that allows you to turn to your setting, your foot-pound setting, which is pretty self-explanatory. I don't know if you can see the numbers on there or whatever, but they're on there. So, you can Google it, or you can look in their literature. It tells you exactly where they want you to be foot-pound wise to tighten these fittings down. When you're tightening the fittings, you make sure to anchor the center of the fitting with another wrench. Don't try to grab the other side of the fitting and then reef the other side, or you're going to snap it and break it. So you got to hold the fitting, tight in the center, and then you can apply your torque onto the tightening of each one separately. So that's pretty cool. Typical line set. This is how it comes, right? So you're going to have your flared fittings on each end. So there's your nice flare inside there. Treat those with respect, careful. When you're setting these, pull them up to what they're going on to. Like as you're sort of building the thing. It's for me, like, to be like a mechanical type of person, my insides tell me, when this is what's going to be hanging out the back of the unit, right? Ready for you to connect into. My insides tell me when you're building this, bring this up snug with your fingers and give it a little wiggle. And don't tighten that. Continue to run your stuff, move, bend, do everything that you got to do. Get to the unit, and the same thing, tighten that sucker down. When you're ready to torque it, let it go. Let it naturally find itself. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like you go here and just reef that, and then you continue on and do your bending and doing all this. This tube is getting kinked, and it's getting pushed, and it's getting weird, right? So just, snug it up, but let it be natural. Let it move, right? As you're unrolling and, trying to fit your line inside of all of that tubing and all this, that, and the other thing. All right, so this is what Miss Amy wanted me to show.
I was asking him, like, so, what's the tool do?
Yeah, so when you're torquing, you're torquing this fitting on, my point there was you don't want to grab this side of the fitting with a wrench, thinking I'll just grab here and sort of kill two birds with one stone or whatever. Always grab, in the center, so you're not unevenly applying torque to this side. Grab it here, do your torquing here. Cool, makes sense. And then if you do have to cut your line at some point and you have to reflare, like we had to because we were just a hair over the 25 feet, right? So, you have to cut it back here. You're going to have to put that nut on there, but then you have to connect to another flared side. So that's where these little dudes come in. And you can order these right off Amazon. They're air conditioning specific. They have your exact 45-degree angle on them. Perfect for the flare tool that I just showed. And then the same thing applies with these. If you do have to use like a union or whatever to join to, make sure you clamp it in this, grip it in the center torque that side, grip it in the center, torque that side. 3 of the install kit that they send to you is the Big Mama Jamma. Alrighty, this is your pump, right? This is the vacuum pump. So once you start installing, and they have the line sets plugged off, but at some point you're going to have to open those dudes. You're going to be manipulating them. You might have to cut them. You might have to flare them. You might have to do whatever. So that invites moisture. So what they give you is a vacuum pump. So once you got all your fittings torqued down, everything is ready to go. You have to install the vacuum onto the suction side, which is the larger diameter, the half, basically the low pressure side of your air conditioning system, and you need to vacuum it. And what that vacuum does is it boils any moisture out of the lines. Okay, so it dries it and it gets it ready for the air conditioning to come in. There again, you go to the online videos. And you see these people that are out there, they're working quick, they're trying to get it done. They're like, okay, blah, 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 here's the thing, and then I'm on to the next thing. The average homeowner's like, what do I even do with this? Where do I put the oil in? Does it go under this? What is this thing even for? What is it about? Like, what is this? Why is this? Right? So what it comes with is it comes with lubricating oil. And you're going to have to put that in yourself, right?
Okay.
Where do you put it? Let's see.
You only got 2 choices.
Yep,
Maybe.
So does it show where?
Like if I were to take a guess, would it go in here? Or
Say there's a cap on there.
Would you take the cap off and do it?
Well, it looks like I shouldn't pour it in there, but should I?
Since there's a Max and Mini, I would think here. Is that true?
So you're good. Okay.
Oh, wait, right here. There's a window.
Now let me ask you this. Which one do you... go ahead and take it all the way down to where you can finally put oil into it.
Would it be in here? This is just me. I have no idea. Can I twist this?
I don't know. Can you?
Yes, I can.
This is the benefit of Miss Amy's video.
Here. Oh, there's a hole. So I would pour it in there.
It's got an O-ring.
So I know that would be for oil because look at here's the little window.
Exactly.
There we go.
But a lot of people won't even realize that this is a threaded on piece. So that's why we're doing the video the way that we do it, right? So that just the very average person can conquer this, no problem. The only thing that you have to farm out, unless you happen to be a licensed electrician, is the electrical part.
Yeah.
So it's no big deal. I was going to take the stuff out and kind of shake it a little bit and show it to you, but it's juice. It's oil.
It's oil.
Yep. It lubricates their pump. There. And it goes, take this cap off. It's O-ringed so it can't leak out, because what's happening here is this is where the air is going to be coming out of, right? When you're doing your vacuum. So you want your... that's the port that you're pouring your oil into is basically the whole point, right? Okay, this is a separate hose that comes with the pump. That guy will be here. So the point I was trying to make with Miss Amy about how do you know, do you pour it in this hole? Do you pour it down there? This is where the air is coming out. So if you fill this with oil, it's going to be right? No, it's not going to be very good.
Ladies, don't vacuum your thing.
Yeah.
But this, unless you really would need to.
Ladies,
I know, that's what I mean. That's what I mean.
It probably is fine.
This for the husbands or maybe the really skilled ladies. That would
it probably is fine. You probably could pour it in there, but I'm saying don't. I'm saying get it down underneath there. Okay. The next component that they give, and this is the part that will confuse a lot of people. Okay. This little gizmo right here ties in with this little gizmo, which is your vacuum gauge. Okay. Because for a minimum of 20 minutes, depending on where you are and the humidity level in your air, I did 40 minutes because we're in Florida. I figured that my lines were going to have a lot more moisture in them, cracking them open, and I did a lot of flaring and other things. So I kept my vacuum on there for 40 minutes. I vacuumed down to, I think it was 350 microns when I stopped everything, shut everything off and just let it sit for another 20 minutes to make sure that holds. This thing they send you is invaluable, right? Because it tells you what the situation of your vacuum is. Okay, it lets you know, like, you're starting at atmospheric pressure, it's going to be around 0.
Okay.
Right? And as you vacuum and this unit is in there, you know, you can inches of mercury, which is pretty cool. And then you can go into your microns and your different units. All you're really going to want to worry about is the micron setting, or if you're not into the whole micron thing, I recommend switching back and forth between inches of mercury and microns. Okay? So you're putting this into the system, and it's telling you how much vacuum you're pulling down to. Yeah, so you want to maintain between like 350 and 500 microns if you can. You know, that's kind of the sweet spot right there. If it gets under 350 microns and stays that way, you know, for 20 minutes, whatever, you are so golden. I mean, anything under 500 is really pretty golden. You know, you're good. You know, you're sealed off and all that. If you are not in that range, do not back those screws out.
You got in the range, I take it?
Yeah, we were in the range.
I was going to say, babe, are you golden? Should I pause the camera?
Yeah. I think I snapped a picture for us when we were in. I was in inches mercury.
Okay.
I was going back and forth or whatever, and just bam, shot the picture or whatever. But yeah, I think we were like 29.92, which converted over to like somewhere in the 350 range or something like that. So yeah, we were golden. And then it held. That's the big thing. Is once you've got it, then you want to hold it. You want to watch it for 20 minutes or so and make sure. All right, this is where it gets about as clear as mud for people. Okay, so like this little gizmo here, you know, allows you to tie into this unit that I'm holding on to. That lets you put your vacuum gauge onto here. Okay. Bam, and you can get it into a position, you know, where you can see it because your line set. Ours was, like I said, it's just a single unit where you can have multiple units. You know, you can get the 3-unit versions or whatever, and you'll have to do this pull down for your 3 different versions. But if you just got the single zone, you're going to have, you know, your high pressure line, which isn't going to have anything you can really fool with other than taking a nut off and undoing to let the freon flow through. So we only had one, so you're attaching to it. Okay. Where the confusion is happening for most people is what is going on here. Okay. So this backs out. As this backs out, you're removing the valve stem that's in the machine. Okay. So you're screwing this dude onto the nipple that's on the machine on the low side port, the big tube, the big diameter tube. Once you're on there, once you're on it like this, you're threaded in there, and you kind of back this off a little bit so you can get a full seat on there. Then you sort of take this guy in slow and reach around until you feel it engage that valve core. Okay, inside of every valve stem is a threadable little core that goes inside there. On your bike tire, when you push the button, you know, push the little metal pin sticking up, that's your valve core. This little dude, can you zoom in here on the end of it? You see those slots right there? Mm-hmm. That's what's going to engage your valve core, okay? So it's got the opposite shape to it. So, you know, once you're, like I said, I felt free to pull that back and get up tight onto the deal, and then as I was coming in, I'm twisting and I'm feeling for that, and boom, all of a sudden it enters. Okay, once that dude enters, you can start unscrewing that valve core. Okay, so once it's fully unscrewed, then you can take this and you can pull this entire pin out, and that's where your valve core is. Okay, and it's in your hand. You just put it right up there on the top of the unit while you continue to work. Okay, so now you also have the ability to open and close this valve right here. Alrighty, once you've got your valve core removed, you know, you got to pull back. You've got it attached in there. You can unscrew this dude, and your valve core will be hiding right inside of that tool right there. Right? And then now you've got this end that you're able to bring your vacuum up to, okay? So they want you to remove the valve core tool because vacuuming the system down happens much faster than if you use an old traditional line set and, you know, push. It's got to make, the air's got to make its way around that valve core, okay? So once you're free like that, then all of a sudden you can, you know, do your vacuum process. You got your gauge right there. You're staring at it. It's telling you whether or not you're leak free, okay? So once you've determined you're in that range, and you'll see it in the literature, they'll tell you where they want you to be, you can turn your deal off, and then you can close the valve, and you can watch. Alrighty? As soon as you turn the pump off, you know, you close this, turn your pump off, and you're reading that thing, and that thing's like 29, 28, 27, 26, 25, 24. You got a leak.
Okay.
You got problems.
Okay. Don't want that. That's not golden, people.
Definitely don't want that. So what you want to do is you want to be able to break that off, turn your unit off, and you want to see it. Maybe it loses a little bit because the vacuum stopped pulling, but it should stabilize and it should stay. And you should be able to see it stay for 20 minutes. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Okay, so once you got the readings that you need and everything is cool, copacetic, you know, you remove your vacuum tool. You'll thread your valve stem tool back on there. You'll advance this nice and slowly, and you'll get that close to where you need to be, and you'll feel that core starting to be reinstalled. By the time you're back flush, that core should be where it needs to be. Okay, because see how far that's sticking out right there? So, you know, if you're having a problem with it, you're going to be way back here, and you're not going to, you know, that's about where you're going to start threading it.
Okay.
So, you know, as you're threading it, it's going to advance you in and advance you in and advance you in, right? So at that point, you can, you could pull that back and basically close this valve, remove it, get it out of the system. Okay. Then on the machine itself, on the ends of the fittings, on both the high pressure side and the low pressure side. High pressure side is always going to be your little thin 1/4 inch tube. Your low pressure, your suction side is always going to be the bigger tube, okay? So what you really want to do is they have 2 brass caps on the ends of the fittings. You want to take those off. They're going to expose a hex key, like a set screw inside of the fittings. I like crack the high pressure side first. Just pressurize it. You don't want to go too crazy. Just get some pressure in there. You know, kind of go ahead and back it up a little bit. You know, shut her back off, and then go down to your suction side and slowly start undoing that right there, and then
there it goes.
You'll hear that. Yeah, you hear the refrigerant fill the line set, and then you can go back up to your high pressure side and you can back it off. And one of the mistakes you don't want to make is you don't want to think, okay, I've cracked it, I hear it, and that's great. Okay, the flow through the unit heavily depends on the fact that you take that set screw and you back it all the way out. Okay, and we'll go outside and maybe we can show them where that's at or whatever. But you back that set screw all the way back, and it has a little ring, a little catch ring in there, almost like a snap ring. You run that set screw back until it literally bottoms out on that catch ring. Okay, you don't crank into it, but you just back it up until bump, it makes contact. And then maybe you give it just a little tweak. Okay, so you hold it there. That means your line sets are completely free to move the refrigerant through the system. All right, one last thing. One last tip for an awesome installation on these things. They do provide a small bit of tubing, okay? But their tubing doesn't have the nipples that, you know, joining 2 or 3 pieces together require. It's just one, you know, continuous piece. So depending on what length or how long or what this, that, the other thing, whatever you're going to want to do, one of the things that you absolutely do not want to have to like redo on this is your vacuum or your water drainage line, right? So they've got a piece coming out of the back of the machine, and then it's got a nipple on the end of it, all right? Then they give you a couple little pieces of tube that you can put attached to it. What I would recommend doing is going on Amazon again and getting yourself a 50-foot solid roll of your drain tube, okay? No fail points, no leaky connectors, no anything, all right? So if you look at the end, you can get a close-up on it or not. Do you see how it's got this molded in dimple here? On the Della unit, this sucker plugs right in to the nipple they've got, out of the back of their machine. It plugs right onto that dude, and it has the male version of this female groove. So as you slide that sucker on, you already feel it sealing off, going, whoa, this is going to be a very quality connection. And then it gets up to that male portion on theirs, and it literally just clicks right in there.
Nice.
And then I took some tape and just wound it around there and put just a small little hose clamp on there. And that's like literally a connection that will never leak. The inside of this tube is coated, so it's a smooth inside, so that water's running really good. Okay, so these are just like super cheap upgrade things that you can do while you're installing this. It's going to make your life a whole lot easier. You're dealing with 50 extra feet of it. You're not trying to piece things together. Definitely get that. So this is an example of the covering kits that you can get from them, just to kind of make it a little bit more clear if we weren't very clear outside. Everything splits in half. Okay, so this is an example of the bottom corner that we put in there. Starts to come straight down and out. Those are your 3 holes. And if you're going into a wood house, they give you the connectors to tie that right directly to the side of your home. Or if you're going through concrete like us, we use the Tapcon screws with a solid carbide or diamond drill with a hammer drill. But this is how they come. So the intermediate piece, the tube, you might say, that sits right inside here. See how it's got a little positive stop, so it's only going in so far. You're gonna. This is your flex piece that it comes with. So if you've got corners to go around, or you've got any weird offsets to get around or whatever, they include one of these pieces. But you can imagine what we've got, the rigid pieces that come with, they're in half, just like this is in half. So like I said, my recommendation was you can anchor these down, but these intermediate pieces are flippity floppy. Yeah. Okay, and they're very hard to deal with while you're trying to do your line sets and all that stuff. So like I said, do yourself a favor, drill a hole in the center of that dude, anchor it while you're anchoring this half of the cover to your home, and then it makes the whole installation just so much easier. Using their torque wrench, using their vacuum system, using the gauge to vac it down. This is all very important stuff because with Della, if you provide, as a do-it-yourself installer, if you provide photos and show that you've gone through the correct steps to vacuum it down, to torque everything to spec, to have everything just perfect, have your drain tube in order, all these different things, it comes with a lifetime warranty. And that's huge. None of these mini splits are offering a lifetime warranty. So it definitely is beneficial to get their installation kit, use it, follow their instructions exactly to a T, be meticulous, be clean, all that kind of stuff, and you're going to be benefited with a lifetime warranty.
Nice. Come here. It's already chilly.
His cooking thermometer before he gets lost.
So it's been about an hour and a half. Look at that. 78 degrees.
From 88, it dropped to 10 degrees already in here.
Very nice.
It feels amazing.
You know what's going to be
I
great?
can't even believe it. Okay, and let me, honest engine, it's raining out. It's 100% humidity. And that is like absolutely the worst day to try to cool your anything down.
Yeah.
Air conditioners have to work hard. The drier the air, the better they work. It's raining out. It's literally 100% humidity, and it's sweltering, and this thing is working like
awesomeness.
No problems. I could work out here in this garage all day if I had to.
That'd be great. Babe, the oil needs to be changed.
Yeah, okay.
Normally, you gotta crack the garage door.
Oh my goodness, I got Jensen
Sweating to
feels
death.
bad for his daddy because he's out here with sweat dripping off his head.
He takes the fan.
He will literally follow me around the garage with a little cooling fan.
Because it's so hot out here.
So hot all the time.
So then what is Amy gonna do when Greg's at work with his app? So, right here.
Oh yeah.
What am I
I'm
gonna do?
see you move it down. I'm gonna turn it back up.
I'll be out here. You know Amy's in the garage working. No, look right here. We got a nice little.
It just hit this little dude right here, and it'll show you what's happening in the room. Look at that, 77 degrees already.
Nice.
88, and there's your set. And I don't want to fool with it too much, but there's your eco mode, your timer, basically everything that you've got in your app, your fan speed, your settings up here for, Miss Amy is the queen of setting the air conditioning and stuff like that. That's all happening under these 4 buttons right here.
Oh.
Or you can set the heat, you can set the sun, you can set just the fan only, you can put it on auto mode. So we're going to keep it on
70.
Yeah, air conditioning.
We were testing it out last night and had it on. And we were out here working, cleaning the garage. It was freezing, mind you. Like this garage is never been freezing.
I wanted to do it good. I wanted to give it like a good durability test.
Yeah.
Like a good 24-hour durability test.
It was so cold.
I turned it to like 70, I think it was in here. We came out, it was frozen.
Oh yeah,
it was freezing out.
I go back in the house. I'm like, it is so sweaty.
Or
in this
wait,
house.
I'm sorry. I didn't have it set. I didn't even know what I was doing yet.
We were
really.
started down.
I think I had it at 60.
Yeah.
I had it down as cold as it would go
freezing.
to see how fast it would. Because I'm totally expecting it's going to take a full 24 hours to cool the space.
Because this room is so hot.
So,
this room is sweaty.
We can't even begin to describe how hot it gets in
hot.
here.
It's
like murderous hot.
It's like, it's usually like now my freezer over there is going to love life right now. It's
yeah.
probably going to last forever because, it's always
So, so I just put it on at 60, thinking there's no way overnight it's going to hit 60 degrees. We came out here and there's frost on our car. All the kids came out here.
They're like,
oh my gosh,
the garage is the best.
Why does this feel like better than the house?
I'm like, maybe we should move to the garage, kids. Let's hang out in here.
And me, immediately, I'm like, let's put mini splits everywhere.
Yeah, let's put it in all the bedrooms. You could, I guess, if you were allowed.
I'm not sure. You'd have to look at Della and see how many zone they have.
Yeah.
But we've just got the single zone, but the valve sets that we just showed out there.
Yeah.
You'll get 6 of those. High pressure, low pressure, high pressure, low pressure.
Okay, to put on there.
For however many zones you want or whatever.
Very good. Well,
Yeah.
this is making it much more pleasant here in Florida.
Amazingly
so
better.
Great. Thank you, Della,
Oh,
for making Greg's work life so much better.
You don't even know. No, let's be truthful about it. Thank you, Della, for keeping Amy's brand new car cool.
There you go. Yes, it's so sweaty. Yes, it's really hot. I don't know if anybody knows how hot it is in Florida. It's so hot. So in the garage it's nice, but now it's just so nice.
Well, when we first moved here, the car was outside all the time, and literally the plastic
it's
on
black
her
inside.
dashboard is 1,000 degrees. She's fooling with the deal that you put in, the visors and all that. I mean, this is. I don't know how everybody else is in the universe, but
it's so hot.
New cars are insanely expensive. They're insane.
For sure.
So it's no longer just, this is just a piece of whatever. A car is literally like an investment.
Right.
So it always drove me nuts that our vehicle would be sitting out there baking to death, and then we pull it into the garage and it's baking in here. It's like, I don't know, it just takes a lot of value out of your investment,
Well, it's nice here, and then the freezer should last a whole lot longer over there. It's probably 11. I haven't even turned on at all. I'm like, wow, it's going to be amazing out here.
Yep, those two things and
working out here will be like night and day.
The third thing that did it for me to want to do it was it's so hot.
Yeah.
It is so hot in here that I know that the space above us never gets a rest. The boys' bedrooms are right above it.
Yeah.
They've already got 2 computers zipping up in there. So I just wanted something to like bring this half of the house down.
Right.
So there's going to be a benefit in how much our main air runs. So it's kind of like a trifecta.
Exactly. So it's awesome. So very good, babe. You did a great job.
Thank
You
you.
hit the golden buzzer, whatever you said, golden number.
They made it super easy. Della makes it super easy.
And lifetime warranty. Like,
Where do you get that?
where do you get that? They
Yeah.
need now. Della, you need to come up with that for your house, air conditioner. Florida, you'd be a millionaire.
Oh my goodness.
Millionaires.
Oh, and just as a side note, if you show the unit right now, look at the first thing you see when you unpack the head unit is that gigantic barcode on the right hand side of it. So you can click that
Oh, right there.
and watch 50 videos
Yeah.
of people putting these things together.
Yeah, lots of videos, but they miss all those points that
I just felt watching everybody else's videos that everybody covers the
main stuff.
The main stuff, unroll your line this way, do this that way, use the template, drill the hole that way. Very few are doing okay, stop. Let's look at this little gizmo that they give you that you have to attach to the lines to vacuum it down.
Right.
What am I supposed to do with this end that turns? What are you talking about? Valve core, nobody's
Bend my
really-
tube. Wait, that doesn't actually bend because you got to do 90.
Yeah.
So all
you need
good
a tight
things.
corner, you get this tool, you're gonna be sorry. It's like that's what we tried to focus more on was what everybody else wasn't talking about.
I think you did a great
specifically.
job. Informational, babe. Great job.
Thanks, babe.
Good job.